Dhamma is Dhammatiloka, and disciple to get the 12. This is another second time that the Raman or Monsek have come to Kingdom. In Molasasana of Wat Yangkong of Kingdom give the date of monastery, the construction date of monastery. Here in Wat Phakyaw in 1339, Wat Chomtong in 1341, and Wat Prasing in 1351. This is the picture is inside of Wat Chomtong. This is the stupa of Wat Chomtong. Again, like in Chiang Mai, when Raman Sakha arrived, the Sondok also come to Chengtung again. It was in 1407 in the land of Choyikamka. The monk who brought the Sondok sect to Chengtung is Intapanya. They set up their headquarters at Wat Yangkong. Is the operations now in Wat Yangkong in Kingtung, and both Wat Yangkong and the Raman sect they performed the Sangha Karma together. So in Kingtung they treated as one sect here in Kingtung, not a different sect like in Chiang Mai. And the Padang sect also arrived in Chengtung as well in 1442. Yeah. And they constructed the monastery there and left one inscription in Kingtung in Palang. As I have mentioned earlier, this is the in Fakham script still standing in Kingtung. This is Palang sect in Kingtung. As you know, we have full record in chronicles like the Chintu State Chronicle, Padang Chronicle, and Wat Yangkong Mulasasana of Wat Yangkong Chronicle about the arriving, about the history of Lana Buddhism right in Kingtung. Therefore, I will not use many of pictures to show you to support the claim here. But on the other side of the Salawian, especially in the West, because we have no chronicle like in Kingtung or other part of the Shan state, so we have to rely on the archaeology remain like a stupa, Buddha image, and thumb script. So, and many existing chronicle like Mung Nai or like a chronicle, they are silent on Yon Buddhism, on Dayon Buddhism. So, as I have said, we have to rely on the architecture. Here, as you see the elephant creatic stupa style. As far as I noticed, I haven't seen many elephant creative style in Burmese stupa, in Burmese jetty, but they are very famous among the Taiyon Buddhism. This is the Holung. Holung is one of the most venerated in Shan state. This is like a mondop or pavilion style with elephant creatic here in by the Nam Khong River. Here what we see here is in this one is in Mung Nong. Here I'm not sure whether you can see it. Here we also have 4 elephants here at the base of this stupa, and this one we call Bolana. Bolana in Laika. I think this is also elephant creatic that they have influence from Lana as well. The second main type of the stupa found in state is no Pratong or Prasam. Yeah. Pra literal means stupa, and Tong is for the lowland where the plain area, and Prasam is one of the same kind in numerous number. Like we see this here, what you see here, this is the Inteng or Angteng in Shan. You see many stupa in thousand, in number is in thousand. If you see the spineer, it's very unique to the Yon. You haven't seen anywhere in Burma or proper. You see the large, slim and long, the Phinia or T. This is unique to the Yon Buddhism, Taiyon Buddhism. The number of the stupa at Indeng now, according to the leaflet when I visit there in 2015, is that about 1,054 stupa. But according to the Scott, when he visited there in early 20th century, there are more than 1,400. So within 100 years, about 300 of stupa had crumbled down to a big fire. Yeah. This is another Pratong or Prasam. This is Katku. The number is more than in 1,000 as well. Here I would like to say that Gu is in Shan mean monument or stupa or even a tomb as well. The Katku is the tomb or the monument market there. So in Shan we call Katku. Mueang Nai is not the ancient city of the Shan state. From the early history, it has been part of the Lana as well. In Lana Chronicle, like Tamnan Mueang Chiang Mai or Tamnan Mon Sasana, they mention about the Mueang Nai, that the Phaya Mang Lai has sent his son, Khun Kher, who to conquer, to rule in Mueang Nai. Because of this, Khun Kher is the Mang Lai dynasty who ruled in Mueang Nai before the 16th century. In 16th century, when Chiang Mai had faced the crisis of the successor, king successor, they invited Chau Mekuti from Mueang Nai to rule Chiang Mai. And Mekuti was taken by Piyin Nong to Peko, and on the way he died on the way. So that he became the one of the Burmese Nat 37 is known as Yon Piyin. Actually, he is from Mueang Nai. Yeah, Chau Mekuti is from Mueang Nai. You see the stupa in Mueang Nai, because of there are many stupa or many pagoda around the Mueang Nai area. So the local tapped it as is the Pagan of the Shan state, because of the lots of pagodas. Here, the picture is also from Mueang Nai. I took it in 2015. Now we come to the Mueang Keung. Mueang Keung has a very Muay Tho, or the pagoda is very famous and most venerated one as well, because its location is in central Shan state. So any people from different parts of Shan state can come to pay homage to Mueang Keung. So in Mueang Keung also they have their link with the Taiyon of Lana. Here the picture shows the Chao Lampun is the statue in the compound of the pagoda. You see that Chao Lampun has come to Mueang Keung for his missionary work. This is another Taiyon style stupa found in Mueang Keung. Yeah? You see the spinner as well, and the shape is like the slim and tall. Yeah? On my left, I can say on my left, this is the stupa from Kenglen in nearly KC. You see the spinner here is the unique to Taiyon as well. And on my right side here is the Phom Mueang Pai or Mobe. I took it last month, maybe something like it. You see the spinner also belong to the Taiyon style of Taiyon Buddhism in Shan state. Here now we have looked at the Buddha image already. Now we have looked at the stupa. I'd like to move to Buddha image. In Shan we have a legend that how the one Buddha image arrived in Shan. According to Scott, he write here, in the reign of Khammai is 1649. This is wrong. It's about 1440, something like that. At which time all the people of the kingdom of Kosampi or Sanvi were pagans, were pagan. The people of the Shan were pagan, they are not Buddhist yet. Yeah. A great army under the commander of Ahmad Taunggyi was sent to attack the town of Chiang Mai in Siam. Taunggyi was victorious and on his return brought with him a tiny image of Gautama for his children to pray with. On the journey, he tied it to the back of his vest, but it kept jumping around him and getting onto the pommel of his saddle in spite of his continually putting it in its proper place. At last, in despair, he allowed it to remain in front of him, and in his position, he eventually reached home with it and gave it to his children. A few days afterwards, all the children in the town were found praying to the image. On this at the dot, it must be an evil spirit to have such an effect on children. So it was taken to a very hot spring some 10 miles south of the Myanmar and drawn in. The water at once cooled down. It was then agreed that the image might be worth worshipping, so it was brought back to the capital and a handsome shrine was built for it. In the meanwhile, a number of Buddhist priests had arrived from Siam to search for the image. Actually, in Shan, we call Pla Ko Meng, because of the arrival of a Buddha image from Chiang Mai, and it's called Pla Ko Meng. And a monk from many monks, with devotees from Chiang Mai had come to Shan in search of the Buddha image. And some people may think that it's only a legendary, but it's embedded with the fact. Here, a Chiang Mai monk has also added a few alphabets to the Shan alphabet to write Pali, because Shan alphabet usually have only 17 or 18, not full, not enough to write Pali. So the Chiang Mai monk added to Shan alphabet to write Pali. It is called Chaton Kuma version. This is the Pali version, the early one in 15th century. Here, now another place is called Sipo. According to Pashin, the Pashin have write two images of Taiwan or image of Taiwan type found in Sipo. Here, the image is called passing in the second group for about the 15th or 16th century, because you see the frame like Usanisha above. The Buddha's head is clearly show the Sukhothai influence over this image. The Buddha image has seen in Sipo and Taunggyi in Yametin, and one in Sremoto Pagoda. The one in Taunggyi has the time script written in it. It read Pra Tanhankara Chao is the first Buddha here. The Pra Tanhankara Chao is the one of the Buddha in 28 Buddha. This is found in Sipo and Taunggyi and Pago and in Pago. So it shows that how the Taiwan Buddhism has spread across the Shan state and beyond into the Burma proper. And now we come to the time script. Time script and Yon Buddhism, they are like a water component that go area together. If you see the Taiwan practice there are time script as well. According to Josai Meng Manglai, he said the time script of early century found in Meng Nong, now kept in the government museum in Taunggyi. I haven't seen the original one yet, but this is from his book in 2002. This is at Gatku. Is the time script inscription on the bell where Gatku is that is about a donor named Chao Khun, a prince of Yonghua state. And the date is dated about 1793. This is in Katku. I'm not sure whether The bell is still there now. This is the Tham manuscript I found in Inteng. I took it myself in 2015. The manuscript is on display for sale along the staircase after leading to the pagoda. This Tham script in Inteng. So all the Tham script on bell inscription and the manuscript show that it used to be in this area. Used to have Taiwan Buddhism around here. So actually, I prepared about the decline when the Vietnam introduced the Burmese form of Buddhism into the Shan state in the 16th century. Yeah. And since then, the Taiwan had lost its patronage and protection from the ruling princes, and sometimes it also faced persecution as well. Like I'm going to jump forward to the story or to the history of Chao Kangse. This is the Royal Order of Burma, or when the Buddha sent missionary monks to Shan State, to area 56 places. And in his royal order, he gave the permission to defrock any different sect of monks. And the missionary also at the expense of the local ruling. Buddha just sent the monk, not he sent the money. So yes, this is the Chao Kangse. Chao Kangse was belonged to Taiwan monk, and very famous for his work, is especially poet. So far we have known his work over 200. So it is that Mahatanwon is in later time we call the monk spy. Yeah? Mahatanwon has questioned him about the Dhamma and Vinaya. He could answer all the questions, but when he put back the question to the Mahatanwon, they couldn't answer his question. So Mahatanwon instead reported correctly, distort the fact and report to the king in Mandalay, or maybe in Botopia's time, maybe Amarapura. Yeah, so they're trying to disrobe him. So he has to banish himself for 40 years to live in Kangse. That's why his name is Chao Kangse. After 40 years, he come back to his native place. Still, he faced the disrobe. So he has to disrobe and left the monkhood at the age of 65. So his only crime, he did not commit any crime. His only crime is because he belonged to the Taiwan monk. Yeah. So we do not know how many monks like him being persecuted like him, the Taiwan monk. Yeah. Because we know about him because of his famous poet. That's why we know, and we have no any record of any other monks. So finally, I want to conclusion here. In 1980, the socialist government has assembled the Sangha Tanshinye or DPhil, yeah, you call it DPhil, and forbid to form any new sect. And there also the recognize only 9 Buddhist sects in this country, and Taiwan sect is not one of them. So I think in this time, I think we should review the law or review anything in a matter of more inclusive, because Taiwan had a strong history and had connect link with the Theravada Buddhism in Sri Lanka, And the same lineage with the Dhammasami one as well, we call the Kalyani Buddhism, or in Shan is the Wat Padang. They are the same lineage, the same teacher. So I think it's time to review the status of the Taiwan Buddhism in Shan state. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening.
Now we left 7 minutes to question and answer. If anyone has any question, please introduce yourself briefly and put your question precisely.
Okay. Thank you very much for the very interesting overview of the Taiwan Buddhism. My question is very simple, actually. I would like to know if your work on Taiwan Buddhism is going to be published or available online, because I would like to read much more about that.
Yeah, now this is my dissertation, and I have submitted into SOAS University. Is the property of the SOAS library. I'm not sure whether they are available online for free download. I'm not sure, but in case you want, I can give you soft copy of my own. Yeah.
Much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bande, for excellent lecture. I just want to ask one question. Is Yonsek still exist or active? If still exists, could you please point us out the place or the area?
As I mentioned, in the eastern side of the Shan state, like the Kengtung area, or the whole up to the China border and beyond in the Sipsongpana or Mương Ram, and in Long Prabang in Laos, they all practice the Taiwan Buddhism as well, the Buddhism from Lana. And on the west side, we have some in remote villages. Like in 2013, I visited Sanvi, the Zhongxiang airport. He also they belong to Taiwan, and they also they use the wanda to in praying to the monk. Yeah, they use wanda, not orgasa. Yeah. And I think there are many in remote villages still practicing on the west side of the Salawin River. Yeah.
One more question. According to your information, Yonsek influenced by Ceylon or Sri Lankan Buddhism. And it means that Yonsek is belong to Theravada sect. Is it true?
Of course. Yuan, we call Yuan because of the ethnicity of the Lana Buddhism. We call Thai Yuan because it's Yonsek. Actually, Yonsek, the Raman is from the Tarawati. It's also Theravada Buddhism. We have evacuation many of elements from the Tarawati. And the Sondok also come from Sri Lanka, the Aranyavasi of the Mahakassapa during the Brahma Buddhist reformation, and the Padang or Padang sect also come from Sri Lanka. The same because the same Buddhism that Dhammasami has sent to Sri Lanka in 1476, but that is, Chiang Mai monk has been to Sri Lanka in 1423, I think, something like that. So it's about 40 years earlier than the Dhammasami one. Yeah. So it all belong to the Theravada Buddhism and had a strong connection with the Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Dhammasami. I have one question that you mentioned the Samanda Pasadiga. Attayasana
Yeah.
compiles in Dayu